Hello, welcome to What Would Aaron Do? Today we're making some chicken wings out on the smoker. Alright, I try to do this, I'm going to do this all in one take because, you know, I don't have 40 pounds of chicken wings for every time I screw something up. So I apologize ahead of time for any bad language or poor taste in jokes or anything else that I do that may offend somebody. So what we have here is, what do we got? We got about 3 pounds, looks like. Yeah, about 3 pounds of chicken wings. First things first, I'm gonna glove up. Whenever I'm cooking, I always glove up. It helps. You can have one glove on, so you can have a clean hand with like your knife, for instance, like what we'll do here. Or if you want a double glove, that's fine too. You just got to make sure you don't want to transfer any of the bacteria or any of this slime or whatever for that matter that's on this chicken out. So these chickens, these are whole chicken wings. You can tell because they even have the tip on the edge here, but that's going to burn up, so maybe we'll remove a few of those. But for the most part, another thing you're checking for with these chicken wings is we've got these tips on it. We may or may not keep some of those. Is also sometimes you get chicken wings and the skin hasn't been cut well, so you'll get all this extra skin that'll be flappy, and you'll have to take care of that. I like to use a bigger knife. It helps you to work. You get a little bit more leverage. This is a very inexpensive blade. It's just a kitchen knife from Kitchen & Company, but I like it. I can work with it very well. So let's see here. Checking. Oh, we got a few feathers, and so I'm probably going to put on that other glove while I clean up this chicken. Let's get this on here. We'll get this in the trash. So like I said, first things first, we undid all the chicken. I got my trash can close, so I'm not having to look for that. Now when you check your chicken, you come over, you're looking for any feathers that might have got not plucked all the way. Things like that, because you want this to be appetizing for your guests, whether it's a work thing, family thing, whatever. So let's double check all of these. You know, you got, like even on this guy here, way out in the knuckle, I'm probably going to trim that off, so these aren't a big deal, but you still check them all the way through. These actually don't seem that bad. Let's see what the best way to trim around that knuckle. I believe I can just trim around it. It pops it right off. Alright, these look... Yeah, let's see here. Alright, so now I have a big bucket over here. It's off camera. Let's see what we can do to get this off. There we go. That sounded like something popped. Go. Chicken wing in a bowl, you can tip in the trash. So this is going to be super exciting if you're watching at home. But you can see how this big knife, put that right on the joint there and put some weight behind it, takes that tip right off. That tip's just going to burn. No one's going to want to eat it anyways. Some of these have the feathers on it, so it's just going to save me some time just to do that. So let's talk about how we're going to prepare them, I guess, while I'm cutting them. So it's a super simple recipe. You can do this on your grill if you'd like. You can do this on, if you have a charcoal grill, propane grill, it doesn't matter. You can also, if you do it, or Weber or whatever you have. You don't even have to smoke them if you don't want to. The key is when you're cooking, you want a good hot temperature in your grill. That'll help to crisp up the skins, but you also you want to oil them. I mean, you know, a lot of times you'll have chicken wings that'll be deep fried. Well, these will be on the grill, but they will be oiled. And what that does is that'll create a super awesome crispy skin where it locks all the juice on the inside. And that's worked for me the last couple of times I've done this, so that's what I'm sticking with. And it's, some vegetable oil, and I use a spray bottle. I use it a lot with my cast iron pan, so the spray bottle comes in real handy. There we go. Also, let me think, what else? Oh, and then the seasoning. I use what's called a camp mix. Now this camp mix is super, super simple, but it is super awesome. It's kind of brings things back to basics, but it's all the favorite flavors that we like. So you have salt, black pepper, white pepper, garlic, and I believe there might be some onion in there and some celery seed. Let me get this out of the way and I'll grab it. So here's the campfire mix. I can't see what you can see on screen. So this is made up in Hollis, New Hampshire. It's I've seen it at Market Basket and a few other local stores. A lot of they're small stores, but I would definitely check online to see where you can find it. So it's garlic, onion, black pepper, salt, celery seed, and white pepper. This stuff is fantastic. So now we have our bowl full of chicken wings. So chicken wings, and here's the sprayer I use. I've tried cheaper sprayers. Picked up this one also at Kitchen and Company, and it was a little bit expensive. But when we use as much oil as we do when we're cleaning up our cast iron pans, when we're what do you call them, seasoning. This has just become very handy. It's very solid. We've had them leak before in the past, and it's just no fun. So first things first, they're already a little sticky, but let's put a nice little coat of oil on top of everything here. I mean, really, it's not that much. There we go. These are nice and slick, and then we'll liberally add some campfire mix. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I recommend at least salt and pepper. That would be more like I guess if you could have it a Texas style, you could even have a coarser pepper. You can use this as a base for all of the whatever seasoning that you want. You can put cayenne pepper if you're brave. You can put some different types of sea salt, but the salt and pepper base is really, really, really where it's at. All right, we're going to put that aside for now, and we are going to go get the grill started. I figured before I started getting cooking, I'll give a quick tour of the grill. This is my grill from, was it Char Griller? Yeah, from Char Griller. It's a dual action grill, so one half is propane, the other half is charcoal. I do all my smoking on the charcoal side. Generally I use briquettes. And what I've built here, this didn't come with it. This is actually a little basket that I made for smoking, because what happens is in this grill when you're smoking it gets ash bound. What that means is you get too many ashes built up, so your charcoal doesn't get the air it needs, so you can't generate the heat you need, and you're kind of scrambling towards the end of a smoke. That basket actually does two things. It allows me to shake out the ashes from the charcoals I have, and it also lets me last longer before it all piles up in the bottom. So let's get this charcoal grill started. This is a charcoal briquette. There are many ways to start a charcoal briquette. Key is to start it getting hot and it'll burn. Sometimes we use our chimney. Sometimes we just pile it in the grill and we will use a starter. I often like to use my torch. That usually works pretty good. But the one great thing with this grill that I really like to do, let me get this turned up a little bit. There we go, that's better. That's not good. One thing I really like about this grill is this is the side burner. The most something about the side burner, it has a recess. That recess allows you to put your charcoal chimney right on top of the fire. So instead of having to use lighter fluid or newspaper or some sort of fire starter, we just put it right in there. We get a couple more handfuls. We got a lot of work to do today. And the propane's on. And we just use the side burner. and now just start right up. Now, you don't have to worry about newspaper and not being enough newspaper underneath. You don't have to use any expensive charcoal starters. You don't have that lighter fluid taste that if you don't wait long enough doesn't burn all the way off. So this is super simple, super straightforward. It's not as much fun as the blowtorch, but maybe we'll get into how I use that later. So after less than a minute of that side burner being turned on high, you can see that the charcoals have started. And they will just continue the reaction, and then once they get a few more of those charcoals started, I'll dump them right into the basket I made. You see I put the other rack back on. I just want to make sure they get plenty of airflow, and they get probably more airflow in there than they do there. So that'll just take a few more minutes and we'll be ready to use them. Alright, that charcoal is just about ready. I mean it's really cooking. There's no smoke coming off of it anymore. Let's pour that in that basket and get the grill warmed up. Perfect. Let me get this. So right now we got this pile. It's still pretty hot, and that's exactly what I want. So we're gonna let this pile warm up the grill just a little bit. And once the grill's warmed up, we'll come out. We'll spray down the grill here so they don't stick, and we'll get actually we're gonna get the temperature down low before we do any of that. That way, when we're gonna introduce the smoke first, that'll give us a lot of our flavor, and then we'll cook up the chicken crispy afterwards. So stay tuned. All right. We are back. I think the grill is at a really good temperature. I got my apple chunks over here off to the side. Not chunks, the apple wood chunks. So we've already kind of scraped this grill down. We're going to put it down on a layer of lubrication. Include another one scrape. Oh yeah, by the way, vegetable oil. Very flammable when hot. See what I mean? That's one thing to pay attention to, and I probably should have done that already. But underneath this grate, I usually like to put a pan to catch the drippings from the actual chicken itself, because, well, it'll cause a grease fire later. I did not today. It's fine. We'll deal. So right now we're just going to spread these chickens out. And you'll notice, well, you probably already know, so we're going to have some hotter areas over here by the fire, some cooler areas over this way. So we'll have to move them around a little bit. But we'll do that. That's not a big deal. But first, we're just interested in getting some smoke on these guys. So before that charcoal gets too hot, we're going to get everything all covered up, all out here. We're going to get the smoke going. That's going to crisp this up beautiful. Alright, now I get the chicken on. Get a couple pieces of applewood. Depending on how hot your charcoals are, you can just put the wood on right away. Some people soak them. They will last a little bit longer if you soak them, I imagine, since they're all wet. But we're just going to put a couple of pieces right in the fire. And the key now is to close it off, because if you do not close it off, what's going to happen is that wood that we just threw in there, it's just going to catch on fire and burn. So what we're going to do here is, I'm not using any fancy thermometers for the temperature. We'll go by my temperature gauge here. We'll get up to 275, 300. Once we get cooking, after the smoke is rolled in, I can tell the temperature is already cranking up. So we're going to shut it down just a little bit. We've got a bottom vent there, top vent here. We're going to choke it down. We're going to get a chance for the smoke to do its job. And we'll be right back. Now, one thing we didn't go over is why are we using applewood smoke versus, you could do applewood, you could do mesquite, you could do hickory, you could do cherry, and actually cherry or applewood would work really well. Both cherry and applewood have a very mild but very sweet smoke flavor. It also works well with pork, turkey, chicken, and all of that. So that's pretty much why we use it. And I'll tell you, in each of the woods, once you start doing this, has its own distinct smell. And you can actually, with this apple wood, this is the same stuff that comes from apple trees. It's got a nice sweet smell, and it'll be really great on the chickens. I just thought I'd include that until we move on. Right, we are back to the grill. Let's see what we've got going on here. Oh, look at those. I mean, we're not even done cooking them yet. That smoke added some beautiful color on the outside of that chicken. We're gonna flip it over here. Make sure we get both sides cooking evenly. And just keep going. Now, what we're looking for on these chicken is we're looking for about between 165, 175 for an internal temperature. That's 165 is a FDA recommendation. I usually do at least 165. And dark meat, they say, is 175. But since this isn't turkey, they're just small chicken wings. I don't know. What we're going to do is we're going to get probably around 170 once all is said and done. We're going to turn these over. We're going to let them continue to cook a little bit. That's not good video. All right. We'll start over it. And so I just turned all the chicken over. I was holding the camera while flipping, and so in order not to drop any chicken, I did a horrible job of videotaping, or video recording, because there's really no tape in these. So what we're going to do is we're going to let these cook up, and we will be back in a little bit. One thing I did forget to mention, we're going to start turning the heat up on this grill. So right now, the grill thermometer says about 300 degrees. We're going to get it a little bit warmer, and we're going to really try to crisp up all of this skin. We're going to spray it a couple of times. A lot of this is going to drip off into the bottom of the grill, but what doesn't is going to help to crisp the skin up right now. Nice. So here we go. Alright, these chicken have been cooking for a little while. I'm going to flip them back to the original side, and we're going to check the temperature. I snuck out and checked it a little bit earlier, and we're getting pretty close into the 150s. Let's see what we got going on here. Oop. Did you see that? I don't know if you saw that, but these chicken are wicked juicy. You know, wicked being a technical term. I just touched it and the juice just blasted out. So let me get my thermometer here. Will you be able to see it from there? Let's see if we can make this work. Alright, well, let's try this one right here. Yeah, that was already. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the ones that are close to the fire cook a little bit longer. I'm going to move the ones that were further away. Let them get up a little bit closer here. The old switcheroo here. So one of the things with cooking with grills like these is you have to know your grill. You have to pay attention to the charcoal when you're cooking like this. Because you can see your hot spots and your cold spots, and checking your temperature on something that's far away from heat. It's kind of I don't know. I enjoy it. It's like a puzzle, getting everything to where they need to be. These guys back here. You slide these guys back away from the fire a little bit. Sorry for the motorcycle noise. It's nice out and people drive motorcycles. It's warm. Alright. I don't think I have any hair on my knuckles anymore. So, we're going to cook this up just a little bit longer, and we'll take them off and they'll be done. Alright, I just finished checking all of this chicken, and it is done. So what we're going to do is, we're not going to eat these right away. These actually reheat really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these off, put them in the pan, put them in the fridge. And the one thing that works well for heating them up is actually just a crock pot. There's probably a bunch of other ways to do it, but for what we're going to end up doing later on, crock pot's what we're going to need to do. So I appreciate you you joining me on this episode from What Would Aaron Do? We're going to have other barbecue things. We're going to be smoking, grilling, cooking, fixing things, whatever comes up. So thank you for having me, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Right now, you could be thinking one of a couple of things, or maybe many. It's hard to tell. So we've got our chicken done. They smell fantastic. But what do you usually have with chicken? Well, generally you have a sauce. So what we like to do when we're taking chicken places is we actually bring several sauces and then we split it up. So you have a choice between different sauces you want to try to use. One thing that we really like is going with a Asian, like a sweet chili Asian sauce. That's usually pretty good. Sweet, some spiciness, but not over too hot. This one just happens to be from Walmart. Another one here is if you want to dip in barbecue sauce, Stubbs makes a fantastic peppery sauce. It's not too sweet. It's actually not very sweet at all. It's more peppery. That's one of the things that we really like at my house, but that's what we do. And then, of course, is Frank's hot sauce. This one's buffalo, but if you can use regular hot sauce, use regular hot sauce, and you can put that stuff on everything. What I like to do is I really just like to eat it straight up. So here's the chicken. It's done. I'll probably put just a little bit more camp mix to add on to what got left over, and then we'll reheat it and we'll eat it up later on. And thank you for being with me through this first video. There's not a lot of extra clips, not a lot of editing. It is what it is. So you have a good day, and we'll catch you later.